Hello, everybody. Last time, Bhagwan has come to the lower end of the spectrum. He started with the highest absolute truth, and now he came down to the very basic level where he told Arjun that it would be a sin. He would be committing a sin if he did not do his duty. Whether he did that duty with a purified mind, with likes, dislikes, attachments, it didn't matter, because at the very bottom, very minimum requirement is that the duty must be done. And it doesn't matter if your mind is not purified, but duty has to be done. And if you do not do that duty, then he will be incurring sin, a demerit. Then Bhagwan in 38, verse 38, now is turning upwards. He's turning. There's the twist in chapter 2. He says that yes, this duty has to be done. Why not you add a fourth dimension to it of equanimity of mind? And why should I add that equanimity of mind, O Bhagwan? Because if you don't add that equanimity, then it is a sin. But you said that by doing duty, only sin will not be incurred. Then why I should add equanimity? Yes, just doing the duty gives you a destination which is finite, So if you aspire for a destination which is infinite, and then you want that destination, but you don't have the equanimity of mind while doing action, then it's a sin. You are committing a sin, because you cannot get that final abode, that final destination from which is a point of no return. So against that, it is a sin. I told you there are levels. If a little baby does something, we don't consider it as a sin. But as we grow older, there are things we cannot do. We may want to do, but we can't. Then it is a sin. So that way, Bhagwan is now turning him towards the principles of Karma Yoga. This is kindergarten of Karma Yoga, finding that balance. So that's why he gives three pairs of opposites: Sukha Dukha, Labha Alabha, and Jaya Ajaya. Labha Alabha happening and Jaya Ajaya both happening outside. Labha Alabha, gain, loss at the level of the body, honor, dishonor, or victory, defeat at the level of the intellect, which is creating in the level of the mind. It is creating Sukha Dukha, and the reason for that joy and sorrow is like and dislike. So the instruction is to make them both equal. So they cannot be equals. Joy is joy, sorrow is sorrow, but your response to that, your reaction, it shouldn't be a reaction, it should be a response. So the response when happiness comes, and the response when sorrow comes, because both are going to come. The very fact that we have taken birth in a human body indicates that there is 50% merit and 50% demerit. So that merit is going to give you happiness, and the demerit is going to give you sorrow. So you cannot expect only happiness in your whole life. Neither can you expect sorrow in your whole life either. Nobody can say that my life is only sorrow. Nobody's glass is fully full or fully empty. It is only half empty, always. Because that is human birth. 50% merit, 50% demerit. So as per our actions, that is what is going to come to us. If we keep on reacting to that, we are creating more vasanas. So that's why Bhagwan's instruction is, be equanimous to both, understanding that they are both the same, the two sides of the same coin. You want the coin, you have to take both sides. You cannot just accept one and say, no, the other one I don't want. So you can't, you don't have a choice there, but you have a choice in your response. You have a choice over yourself. So exercise that choice, and then add this dimension of equanimity. That is what is now giving you spiritual evolution, the equanimity. And then Bhagwan, we were on the next verse, we were looking at Yesha Te Bhita Sankhya. So Bhagwan says, so far I told you about Sankhya Yoga, which I told you is Jnana Yoga. Sankhya coming from the word Sankhya, numeral. So for the intellectuals, for the people who are logically inclined, for the people who want to understand, there is the Jnana Yoga. Yes, it is there. But then this other path is also there, not other path, but to get to that stage where Jnana Yoga becomes absolute crystal clear. You need an absolutely crystal clear, purified mind and intellect. And to gain that, you need buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga here means karma yoga, karma done with a particular buddhi. That way, when it is done with a particular type of intellect, with a particular type of mindset, it converts into karma yoga and it purifies the mind. So karma yoga is upaya. I told you, upa aya, upa near, aya income. It is an income. It becomes like an income for ourselves. And what is that income? Is the purity of the mind. So karma yoga is moksha marga. Karma yoga is not moksha. It is moksha marga. It is a path to moksha. It will lead you to moksha. I was thinking about this, and what came to my mind was when the flight is about to take off, the pilot says, we are ready. The flight is ready to take off. Am I right? I've not traveled for more than a year now, but that's what the pilot will say. The flight is ready to take off. Now, what does he mean by flight is ready? Flight is ready means the actual equipment, the plane is ready to take off, because the pilot goes into the cockpit, then he checks out all the systems, and then he announces we are ready to take off. Means the plane is ready to take off. It is, if all functions are, all the equipment is functioning normally. So same way, this karma yoga is to come to a stage. We have to do karma yoga to come to a stage where we can say we are ready to take off into the path of knowledge. And when we say we, it is the body, mind, and intellect equipment. Most importantly, the mind, which has to be extremely pure, but you also need a healthy body with it. So that's why we encourage people to come join in at a young age. That's why Arjun was told by Indra that he said, I will come after the war and study all this song and dance. He said, what is the point of getting knowledge after the war is over? People think this knowledge is after retirement. What is the point? There is no point, because this is a science of life. This is a way of living life. You've already lived your life. Now you want to, now your body doesn't cooperate, your mind doesn't cooperate, etc., etc. Anyway, karma yoga therefore is a moksha marga, and conversion of karma into karma yoga depends on two factors: method and attitude. Method and attitude of doing karma. So the method of doing karma, any karma, it's not saying special work, we have to go look for volunteer work, this, that. No, 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 no. It's whatever is your ordained duty. So if you have little children, then it's to look after the kids. If you have a job, you have whatever that is your work. That is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. It's not asking you to go look for something special. It is not asking you to go do something special. It is not doing a special action. It is doing every action with a special attitude. Every action. And the attitude, there's method and there is attitude. The method is by neutralizing likes and dislikes, means no likes and dislikes, and also without attachment. Without attachment to the action, to the result. Okay. And the attitude as a surrender to the Lord. So surrender to the Lord, I told you, Lord can be substituted with small children, family, seniors, whatever, country. Country was Lord. For the freedom fighters, Mahatma Gandhi, Lokmanya Tilak, country was God. Guru is God. For Guru, anything beyond your own self. Just for me, I will do it. That doesn't make it karma yoga. Okay, so it has to be for something higher. So in Shastra, they will always say the Lord, because the Lord is the highest. So when you do everything for the Lord, that's the highest altar, that is the highest destination. So they say Lord. But at our stage, whatever stage we are at, even if we do it for somebody else, it will become karma yoga, but without likes and dislikes. I like this person, so I will do it. Then it is not karma yoga. If any person, I may dislike that person may be my enemy, but if that person needs help, if that person asks me to help, I should be able to help. That is what is meant by without attachment. I'm attached to my family, so all my time I'll spend with my family. That it shouldn't be there. Then it becomes karma yoga. It becomes moksha marga. And he says Karma bandham na prahasyasi. You will be not, you will not incur the bondage of action. The bondage of action happens, there are three aspects to it: avidya, kama, and karma, which is also known as hriday granthi, knots of the heart. So it begins with avidya. Avidya is ignorance, and what is the ignorance of? It is ignorance of your own true self. Because we are ignorant of ourself, which is at the level of the causal body, the V in the chart, creates desires in the mind. So mind, intellect, it creates desires, and that desire then creates an action from the body, at the level of the body, at the physical body. Because I'm ignorant of who I am, and therefore I don't know that I'm myself the source of happiness, I have now superimposed that happiness on something outside. So now this is something different from me, which I want, because when I get that, I will become happy. So that desire comes for that object, then the action comes, and that action is done with a desire in mind. So that action, whether it is done with desire or not, it will give result. So because it is done with desire, definitely it will give result, which again I like or I don't like, because not that every action will give me a desired result. I may like or may not like it. If I like it, I'll go for it again more. If I don't like it, I will also make attempts to get what I like. And all that is creating results, and those results have to be exhausted by me alone. Nobody else can exhaust my results. Whatever action I do, I have to bear the result. So that those results may come to me in this life, but most of them don't, because we do so many actions in this life. There are a lot of agami karma that we collect, means that karma which will fructify in the future, and the future may or may not be in this birth, and therefore it is creating a birth. And that is the bondage of karma. Like you keep on doing karma, but now you change that karma into karma yoga. So karma yoga, next verse will come, so I'll in detail. So when you convert that karma into karma yoga, it will not create this bondage, this cycle of birth and death. It will not create. How will it not create? This is what Bhagavan explains in the next verse. Okay. नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. In this, there is no loss of effort, nor is there any harm, production of contrary results. Even a little of this knowledge, even a little practice of this yoga protects one from great fear. Now here, this word, this knowledge, the little practice of this yoga, that this is referring to only karma yoga. It is, even if it is said, even a little of this knowledge, it's knowledge with a small k. So knowledge of karma yoga. So now we are into karma yoga, okay? Now jnana yoga we have left behind. So there's nothing to do with knowledge. This is only to do with action. So in this, there is no loss of effort. This is what Bhagavan is saying first. In karma yoga, he says there is no loss of effort. We have to understand why. Why? So I don't know how, but this example which I'm giving you is from the Bhashya. This is Shankaracharya's Bhashya. That was that many years ago. So he's that time, they didn't have dams, they didn't have irrigation systems, they didn't have electricity. So the farmer, Bhagwan says, he will plant seeds, he will, put soil, whatever, and then he has to wait for the rains. That those days, because now of course there's irrigation, so they'll give water even if there's no rain. Now whatever in Dubai, I heard in the desert they have got a flower garden. So that is not we're talking about. But what Bhagavan says is the farmer puts in so much effort, but if the rains don't come, then his efforts are wasted because the crop will not come. Okay, so now what happens in karma yoga? In karma, what happens is, see, not yoga, no karma. I have a desire. Okay, I do an action. That result may or may not come. So if it doesn't come, say I study hard for an exam, if I have to give you an example, and then I go, but suddenly there I go blank while writing the paper. I have studied hard, very hard. But at that moment, something happens, I can't remember, and I don't try it, and I fail. So what has happened is all that effort has gone to waste. Okay. Now, in Karma Yoga, the goal is not the external desired result, it is purification of my own mind. Okay, Karma Yoga is the goal of Karma Yoga is to purify my own mind. That's why the method and attitude of doing every karma has to be changed. Bhagavan is not saying change the karma. Okay, remember this. Bhagavan is, okay, you have to write an exam. Okay, same exam. What happened with Arjun? Did the war just go away? Same war Bhagavan made him fight. But what did Bhagavan do? Changed his whole mindset. Manasthiti he changed. Paristiti Bhagavan will not change. So for us also, the situation which is there, if I have to give a driving test, if I have to give a test, if I have to, whatever that action that I have to do, that is going to be there. It is not going away anywhere. But what I have control over is my own mind, my own attitude. So if I say I am doing this for the purity of my mind, and if I do it correctly is what? Without likes and dislikes, without attachment, as surrender to the Lord, my mind will get purified. Whether that desired result comes or not, my goal is achieved. And therefore Bhagavan says this is a win-win situation in Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is always win-win, because that effort is not going to go wasted, because you are not doing that effort for an external result which is dependent on many factors. That's why Updeshar Bhagavan Raman Rishi has said, karma kim param karma tajjanam karturadne ya prapyate phalam. The phalam, the result is coming based on many factors. One of the factors is your effort. Definitely. Self-effort is only one part of the thing. How many things what we have done in the past, all that is included in that result. So that result it may or may not come. But I am not doing it for the result. I am doing it because I want to purify my mind. Why do I want to purify my mind? Because I want to get that knowledge which will take me beyond this cycle of birth and death. Okay, so when I do it with that method and attitude as given, and it will be much more given in detail in chapter 3. This is just introduction that he's giving in chapter 2. So he says there is no loss of effort. So it's a win-win situation. You know how they have their win-lose, then everybody, you know, especially legally, when there should be a win-win situation for both parties. So this Karma Yoga is a win-win situation, because you will get the purity of your mind. Then Pratyavayo is sin of omission. Pratyavayo is, you know, side effects. The most common example of Pratyavayo is when people get chemotherapy. So the cancer is cured, but there are so many violent side effects. That's Pratyavayo. But in Karma Yoga, there is no sin, there is no side effects. That's what Bhagavan is saying. Pratyavayo has got two aspects. One is sin of omission, okay? And one is going, sorry, I just forgot. There is two things. I'm on the wrong page. One is dangerous result and one is sin of omission. That is Pratyavayo. So either the result could be something disastrous, or it could be that you have not done correctly and therefore there is some result that is coming to you which is undesired. That is Pratyavayo. Now, if we take Karma Yoga, how can there be a desired result? Because if you have done it correctly, the goal is purity of mind. The destination, the goal, the aim of performing karma as Karma Yoga is only and only purity of mind. If you do it correctly, mind will be purified. Okay, if the mind doesn't get purified, it's not a huge dangerous result. And you have to practice. Okay, karma yoga is not that one karma you do and then your mind got purified. Remember, it is every karma. So throughout the day there are so many actions that we are doing. Every action we have to maintain this attitude, method and attitude. Therefore Bhagavan says pratyavayo na vidyate. And another thing of pratyavayo, because there are some religions which will say if you don't do this you go to hell. Vedanta doesn't say that. Vedanta doesn't see. What Vedanta is saying is, okay, if you do not do with this method and this thing, you will still get heavens. Look how Vedanta is telling us. So heavens is guaranteed. You do your duty, heaven you will get. You know, so Vedanta is not saying you'll go to hell. Vedanta never says that. They say, oh, if you don't do this, you'll go to hell. If you do this, you'll go to heaven. No, 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 no. If you do this, you will go to heaven. If you don't do it, you will get another birth. That's all there is. And even when you go to heaven, you will come back and get another birth. So there's never any injunction in the philosophy, in our philosophy, which says that if you don't do something, you're going to burn in hell. You don't. So pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya means even a little practice of this yoga. So at least let's try to do it in some actions. Because little practice, little purity will come. And as you practice, you become perfect. So then what happens is you start doing small your actions without likes and dislikes. The best place to start is your own home. So there's something you don't like. Now you say that, okay, I am going to take this aspect of it. This I'm supposed to do, I will do it. Start there. Best thing is getting up early in the morning and going for a run or a walk. I don't like it, but I'm going to do it. From tamas, come into rajas. From tamasic, because it's the tamas that is overpowering in the morning. You're like, oh God, do I have to really get out of this thing in the winter, in the cold, in the rain? You get up. You get up even if you this thing. And slowly what will happen is the mind will get disciplined and the mind will tell you, get up. We have to go for a walk. The mind will do that. And the reason I'm saying it with conviction, because I have done this. This is how I have practiced, where I've come to a stage where my mind doesn't let me watch TV if I've not done my reading, if I've not made my notes, even my mind will be, it gets upset. That tells me that I'm bound in sattva guna. That also tells me that. But better to get bound in sattva than getting bound in rajas and tamas. Tamas is the worst. Don't get bound in tamas. So this is what he's saying, little bit of following this dharma. This dharma here is not religion, please, karma yoga. All we're talking about is karma yoga. Trayate mahato bhayat. Mahato, what is the greatest fear? Mahato, great. Bhayat, fear. Trayate will take you over this great. We have the greatest fear is of death. It's the fear of death that is killing us. Death itself is not this thing. But birth and death, let's understand a little bit about birth and death, a little bit more. So when we say birth and death, the first thing that comes to our mind is birth date and a death date. You know, that of course, those are the two final this thing. But birth is identification with one thing or another. That is birth. And disidentification. So birth, when a thought comes, when a sorrowful thought comes in my mind, or some sorrow comes to me and I become sorrowful, I have taken birth as a sorrowful person. That is what is this trayate mahato bhayat. This is what he's referring to. That forget the birth and the final death and birth, forget that. Every minute, a joy comes to me, I become a joyful person. Sorrow, I become a miserable person. I become a depressed person. I become angry. I become angry. I'm an angry person. I'm a jealous person. I'm a greedy person. So every emotion, when I identify, I take birth as a jealous person, as an angry person, as a this person, as a that person. And as those feelings go, I die. I die as an angry person. I die as a greedy person. I die as a happy person. So that birth and death, that is what he's referring. That moment to moment identification has to be given up. And karma yoga will help you. Why? Why? Because already first instruction is equanimity of mind. First instruction, the basic instruction of karma yoga is sukha dukhe. That's what I told you. Remember just these 4 words. Sukha dukhe samai krutva. So when this sukha comes, when I have made it equal, why will I become sukhi? I will know that sukha has come to me. I will enjoy that sukha also. But why should I become sukhi? When dukkha comes, why should I become dukhi? So why should I be born as a sukhi person and then next day I will die as a sukhi person, then I will be born as a dukhi person, then I will die as a dukhi person, and I will be born as a greedy person, as a jealous person. Why? Why? When you do karma as karma yoga, this thing will not happen. That's why trayate mahato bhayat. That is the bhaya of birth and death. And when we start disidentifying with these emotions, we will also disidentify with the body. Once we are disidentified with the body, when the death happens to the body, I know it is happening to the body, it is not happening to me. What is there to be afraid? You will get firmly established in this, that I am never going to die. Never, ever. And what is going to die is the body, and let it die. There will be another body. So what's the big deal about this body? There'll be another one. You'll get established in that fact. You need establishment in that. It doesn't come right at first step. Please, please. Okay? Understand. This is Bhagavan is giving this. Okay? We have to start at Sukha Dukhe Samay Krutva. If we have not done Sukha Dukhe, then you will be afraid of everything. Fear. That's why Bhagavan Shankaracharya in his Bhasha, he always says, the minimum thing this knowledge must do and will do is relieve you of fear. You cannot say that I know this knowledge and be totally paranoid. I have heard this. People say, oh, I know this. What is there to listen? One person said, with this Marathi lectures that we have, he said, oh, all that I know. I said, why do you have fear of COVID? He's paranoid. He's paranoid of COVID. There's one thing is having fear, one thing is being paranoid. No answer. I said, then you haven't understood. You have information, but you do not have the knowledge. Because if you really have had the knowledge, you won't be that afraid. That's why trayate mahato bhayat. That is the greatest fear that we have. Birth and death. So this is what Bhagavan is saying here. That karma yoga is always a win-win situation, because the destination is purity of mind. When the method and the attitude is correct in karma yoga. Why is karma yoga important? Because purity of mind is required, and that is the only way to purify the mind. That is also another thing. Please note, how do you purify the mind? Body, there is soap and shampoo and whatever, and still internally the body you can never get cleansed, but okay, outwards. Mind, how do you cleanse? By getting rid of the negative thoughts. How do you get rid of the negative thoughts? Is only through karma yoga. And because most of us are rajasic, that's why this karma yoga appeals to most of us, because we are very used to doing actions. So Bhagavan is saying, do the same action. Do not go looking for a special action. Please, that is the wrong thing people have. Oh, I can't do any volunteer work, I'm old. No, you don't have to look for volunteer work. Don't. You have your own work cut out at home, right? Do that with method without likes and dislikes, without attachment. Most of the people, they will offer help to other people only when they like them. Otherwise, they don't. Correct? Agree? That is not karma. And they think it is karma yoga. In the mind, Ari Baba, I have seen, what is this, how much mind is disturbed. And then don't do it. Then don't do it. Wait, long time back, I'll tell you this. Long time back, there was somebody that I used to help, but I always had the thought in the mind that this person doesn't deserve my help, and that was bothering me. But I was helping. I was very new. I was also very new. So once Swamiji came, and then I said, I have to ask, because you see, now I'm reading Karma Yoga. Now this mind is getting disturbed. Then what is the point? So is it Karma Yoga or what is it? So I asked Swamiji. He said, stop the help. Absolutely. I said, your attention has to be always on your own mind. If your mind is at peace while doing it, you do it. Otherwise, don't do it. Because see, not doing, I'm at zero. Okay, I didn't do, I will not get merit, I will not get demerit also. I have not done. Now I'm helping and my mind is disturbed. So it's not karma yoga, it is in karma. Now my mind, nothing is happening. My mind is not getting peaceful at all. Because constantly the thought is there, oh, she like da 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 da, mind is going this thing. So he said, stop doing it. Your attention must be on your own mind. Most of the time, our attention is on the other person. Most of the time, think about it. So keep attention. Am I at peace doing this? Only when you're happy doing it. If you have, just now I was talking to one of the grandmothers. My grandchildren are teenagers. They need money. So I give them money. I said, yeah, but you don't have money yourself. You can't afford to live. Why are you giving to the grandchildren? See, in her, she's this thing, but I said, why? That is attachment. First, you make sure that you are, if you have additional time, additional money, please buy your own grandchildren, give it to other people also, but make sure that you are comfortable. So that's why your attention should be on your own mind. Is my mind comfortable? Is my body comfortable helping this person? My body can't handle anything, and now I'm going in, oh, what's the point? Karma yoga, therefore, people think karma is very easy. It's karma is easy, but karma yoga is not easy. So this is why with method and attitude, every action when it is done, it will purify your purify your mind. There will be no side effects like chemo. There'll be no dangerous results, because the mind, what is going to happen is your mind will not get purified. Means what? It'll remain at the same level that you were. That is it. You may think that, oh, that's bad, but most of the people won't. They will be at the same level. All the negative this thing. So there is no question of dangerous result, because the destination is mind. So you keep attention on your own mind, and even start with sukha dukhe same kritva. That is the start. That's why 38 is the kindergarten of karma yoga. Start there. When every single action that you have to do, make sure that your mind is accepting both. Whatever comes, sukha comes, dukha comes, you accept both. And then great fear, even a little bit of purity, as your mind gets purified more, fear will go less. It's inversely, purity and fear are inversely proportional. One is more, then no, purity is less. If purity is more, fear has to be less. And fear is this identification, constant identification with every single thought. I have of course, identification with the body is even more. Childhood body, then my youth body, I'm getting old, now I can't do this. That also is, I was born as a child, then I died as a child, then I was born as a youth, then I died as a youth, birth, middle-aged, birth, old age. One day, old age will also go. And then chat body will come again. So this is what it is. Any questions so far? Clear? Okay. Now Bhagavan says, now the next verse is a difference between karma yoga, real karma yoga, and illusion of karma yoga. Like I said, if your mind is boiling inside and you think you're doing karma yoga, then it's only an illusion. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kuru nandana bahushakhayanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. Here, O joy of Kurus, there is but a single pointed determination. Many branched and endless are the thoughts of the irresolute. Here, the word here means here in Karma Yoga. Okay, there is no Jnana Yoga here. From here on, it is, I told you. So here, Kuru Nandana, or joy of Kurus, is addressing Arjun. So there is but one single pointed is Vyavasayatmika buddhihi, buddhi, intellect. This Vyavasayatmika is translated in the Bhasha as Nishchayatmikaha. So it'll be easier. Nishchaya, word is there in Hindi, is there in Marathi. Nishchaya means determination, a determined mind. So buddhi ekeha kuru. See, when you're doing karma yoga here, in karma yoga, there is only one single pointed determined intellect. What is it? I want purity of mind. That's it. There is no ulterior motive. I want money, I want this, I want that. There is only one thing. That's why he says, here in karma yoga, the goal of karma yoga is only purification of the mind. It is nothing else. Okay. And so bahushakha yanantasha buddhayo vyavasayina. If you go outside, so if you're doing karma, so second line is referring to karma and first line is referring to karma yoga. So in karma yoga, there is a one single pointed determined thing. You're going inside. How many minds do we have? Only one mind. So that mind has to be purified. That's it. There is nothing more, nothing less. So that's why it's a very determined, single pointed intellect when it is pointing inside. Now that intellect, same intellect, when it is pointing outside. So what am I doing why am I saying? Because it is karma. My intention is not to purify my mind. It is to get one thing or the other. And then there are bahushaka. There's bahushaka. This one joke is, so one person had a problem with the right ear. So he went to the ENT specialist. So the doctor asked, so where is your problem? He said, my right ear is hurting or whatever. He said, oh, I am a specialist only in the left ear. So sorry, I can't help you. That is bahushaka. Because outside, when you go to get things, how many branches are there? Do I even have to tell you? Just take the medical. There's a shoulder expert. My friend said, oh, now, then she broke her wrist. So then the guy, he said that, okay, the wrist bone I will fix, orthopedic surgery, but the wrist was twisted. She said, now you have to go to this is real, huh? This is not joke. So she broke her wrist bone and they put a cast, whatever. And then her arm, the wrist, her palm was not straight. It was a little bit crooked. So she went to the orthopedic surgeon. She said, how come? He said, no, but that you have to go to the hand guy, the palm guy. Go to the palm specialist. I can't. So that is bahushaka. You go, first they said there were 9 planets. Then they said this. Now there are more planets. There's now how many solar systems are there? How many this are there? So this is what Bhagavan is saying, that if you go outside, there is no end to that knowledge. And nobody can become an expert in everything. So that means there is no, you will keep on going, learning. How long will you do that? That's why he's saying, turn your mind inwards. So when you make karma yoga as as your principle in life, then it's a very single pointed. So outside you do whatever. That's why Bhagavan is not saying you have to do this or that. Whatever that you want to do outside, whatever you want to do, whatever you have to do, you do. Bhagavan is not asking us to change our career path, go join Sandipani ashram. Nothing. That's why householders, Arjun was a householder. Remember, Arjun was married, he had children, he was prince, right? Exactly like us. It's not like the Upanishadic student, a great Vairag Upanishadic student. Oh my God, they're very great Vairagya. They have left their family. All that kind of thing is with Upanishadic students. But with Bhagavad Gita student is exactly where we are. So Bhagavan says, whatever, you're a janitor, okay, fine, no problem. You're a CEO of a company, no problem. You're a doc, no problem. You're a software engineer, you're a this, you're a that, you're a whatever, no problem. No problem. Keep your attention on your own mind. Do your own action with these two attitudes, which are in your control, right? It is your mind. You can train your mind to act without likes and dislikes. You can train your mind to act without attachment, and you can do your action that you are doing, that you are supposed to do as an offering to the Lord. Ishwar Arpana Buddhi. Okay? Any questions? Any doubts? You should know Bahushaka outside. That I was I was just thinking actually way back when my cousin, he was IIT Bombay was very new that time, you know, in the 60s. It was very new. And then when he went, there was only like I think 4 or 5 branches of engineering: chemical, electrical, mechanical, metallurgical, maybe, and electrical. 5. Now how many engineers? How many branches of engineering is there? Right? So there can never be an end to this thing. Another thing is, when your action is for an external result, that action will grow, because you know why? That external result will breed more. Like, you know, there is one tree, then there are 2 branches, then those 2 branches have another 2 each, and those 2 have branches. So like that, this external results go on branching off. They go on branching off. So there will be no end to it. Hold on to that, just uh, one aspect of purification of mind. The next 3 verses, Bhagwan is talking about about karma. Okay, this is not karma yoga, but how karma is and how the Vedas are involved in that. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipaschitah vedavadarata partha nanyadastiti vadinah. Flowery speech is uttered by the unwise, taking pleasure in the eulogizing words of the Vedas, O Partha, saying there is nothing else. Kamatmanav swargapara janma karma falapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogairaishwargatim prati. Full of desires, having heaven as their goal, they utter flowery words which promise new birth as the reward of their actions, and prescribe various specific actions for the attainment of pleasure and lordship. भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया परहत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. For those who cling to joy and lordship, whose minds are drawn away by such teaching, are neither determinate and resolute, nor are they fit for steady, I think he meant, but I think it's what is it in your book? For steady meditation and samadhi, or study meditation and steady, right? STEAD.
Mine says steady.
Steady, correct. It's a typo. My book is it's my father's copy, so it's a old one. So for steady meditation and samadhi. So these 3 verses we take together. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadantya vipaschitaha. So this unwise people here must not be taken as uneducated. Number 1. This portion, let me tell you, is talking about the karma kanda portion of the Vedas. Okay, number 1 point, all 3 verses. And so the karma kanda portion, which is the bulkiest portion, which is also known as the Brahmana portion of the Vedas, they talk about all the yajnas that can be done for material gain. You want child, yajna. You want rain, yajna. You want money, yajna. You want wife, yajna. You want this, yajna. You want heaven, yajna. You want this, do this, do this, do this. You want this, you do this. You want this, you do this. So they are talking about karma. And Yamimam Push. Now those people who are full of desires. So Kamatmanaha Swarga Paraha, those who are desiring heavens. So all these people whose attention is on the external result only, they will talk only about this portion of the Vedas, the Brahmana portion, the Karma Kanda portion. And Pushpitam Vacha, flowery language. Flowery language is what, I was thinking. So flowery language, I'll give you an example. We have a cleaning lady, Marilyn, in the condo. Now, one day she told me that, she took courses as a healthcare worker. And she aced her written exams or whatever. And then she was doing her practicum, and she is pretty good. While doing practicum, the same people offered her the job. So I was just saying to her, I said, oh, you definitely are getting paid more. She said, yeah. And I get benefits. Flowery language. There's nothing wrong in what she's doing, huh? Please, there's nothing wrong. And I was going to tell her you have to do all this. No. For those, they are trying to get up in life. That's why I told you at one point there was a question like, how do you tell Vedanta to a person who doesn't have food? You don't tell Vedanta to a person who is struggling in life to just make a living. So for her, that is what is meant by like, oh, if you become a healthcare janitor, how much are you getting paid? You don't have benefits. There you will get benefits. And I'm like, yes, please go for it. Go for it. So that is what. So this is what the Vedas are doing. That if you do this karma, if you do this karma, yajna, in those days, yajna, but if you work hard, like her, if you work hard, you aced your test, fantastic. While doing practicum, if you're being offered a job, permanent job, right in that same facility, fine. But now she lives in Burnaby, that is in West Van. So she's trying to get into Burnaby. Fine, fine. This is the people. But as per Vedanta, they are unwise. She's working hard. She's a really good person. So we are not saying unwise doesn't mean bad people or uneducated people or those who are not working hard. No, but those people in Bhagavad Gita, unwise are those who don't even know the highest destination. Unwise are those who are only interested in the world outside. Okay, now that we have come into this knowledge, we know. But there are majority of the people are like that. So those people, he says, Pushpita, so these unwise people tell, you want this, then do this yajna, do this yajna. Like, she must have been told. Her friends are healthcare workers. They must have told her, Arey, why don't you give this exam? Why don't you study this? You'll get this. Veda vada partha nanya dastiti vadinaha. So there is nothing else. So they are not recognizing that there is a destination beyond the heavens. There is nothing else means what? There is no destination beyond the heavens. Heavens is the highest thing. So you work hard, na? And in modern language, heavens is a better life. Heaven would be getting benefits. That would be heaven in this country. Now, another thing which I recently found out is some people, see, I retired, but I still have pension benefits because I'm a pensioner. But there are companies, they're saying, okay, when you retire, no more benefits. So that is heaven. Now that person is worried that's why she's not taking retirement. She says, I'll lose all my the extra benefits, right? So that is what is heaven for in the modern this thing. But previously they wanted to go to heaven. Nachiketa's father wanted to go to heaven. So it's a higher life. Let's put it that way. And so kamat manaha swarga paraha. Swarga para means swarga is the highest. Para is highest. Heaven is the highest. They are desirous of heaven. Janma karma phala pradam. So they utter which promise new birth. So you'll get a better birth. Heaven is what you do good job right now. You'll get so they are not getting out of the cycle of birth and death. Those are the unwise. They don't want to also. They don't want to also. Then what is wrong with my life? I'm happy. So what is there if I get another birth? I'm happy that way. Okay. Kriya Vishesha Bahulam. Kriya. So they do a lot of actions. Vishesha, specific actions they do. I want this, so I will do this specific action. I want to be a healthcare worker, so I will take this test. I will do so specific action for a specific goal outside. And the highest there is heavens. There's nothing higher than that. So in the modern language, if you must have faith in that there is heaven, but even if you don't, it's a better life. So everybody is looking for a better life, a bigger house, a better car, a better this, that, etc., etc. For the attainment of pleasure, bhogaishwarya gatim prati. So prati, towards what do they want? They want bhoga, enjoyment, and aishwarya. Aishwarya is prosperity. So that's all they want. That is what heaven is. Na? Heaven is a place of entire sukha only. There's no dukkha in heaven. So they want to achieve. They don't realize that no matter how much sukha you get, the dukkha is going to be following. That's why Bhagavan later on will say that sukha, happiness, is in the womb of happiness is sorrow. That's how Bhagavan puts it. The womb of happiness is sorrow. And then bhoga of the people who cling to pleasure. So such people, their mind is of course drawn away by that teaching. They're neither determined, therefore they don't have that vyavasayatmika buddhi, nishchayatmika buddhi, which is what the firm, resolute mind that I want something beyond the heavens. The problem is they don't even know that there is something beyond the heavens. They don't know. They don't know. like I told you, do you think if I would have told her that there is something beyond, she'll look at me and say, are you mad? So you don't tell them also. You don't tell them. You hope that they will continue like this. At least she's working hard. She's working hard. She's striving. Okay. So the three verses referring to the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas is talking about results in the external world and the unwise people who think that that result is all. It's the be end and be all of life. So what is the highest in that is heavens. What are we looking for? Happiness, but happiness in the external world. And they are unwise because they don't know that there cannot be happiness in the external world, because happiness is not there. Happiness is not there. They don't know that. So that's why then they prescribe this whole slew of actions. You keep doing actions, you will get this. You do this, you will get that. You do this, you get that. They'll go on and on and on. They are attached to enjoyment. They want to enjoy life. That's all there is in their life, is enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. And that's fine. So then samadhavana vidiyate. So what happens is, when you get one goal, there's always a next goal waiting for you. When you reach a higher, then you, and I was thinking about Marilyn. So now Marilyn will become a healthcare worker. You know what will be the next one? Practical nurse. Because there'll be someone who is a practitioner, say, "Arey, healthcare, but practical nurse will give you this much." Then she becomes a practical nurse. Then what is the next step? Registered nurse. So this is what is meant by samadhavana vidiyate. So there will never be any satisfaction for her, because there will always be a goal which is higher than that. Always. Always. Outside, there will be something higher. Until now, by some grace, she reaches a stage, and then by some grace, if she starts thinking, what did I get? I kept on working, 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 and I reached the top, and now there is something beyond this also. Until they realize that, they will not come to this knowledge. Okay, so this is for the karma. Now here, that's why in 45, Bhagwan again turns. So again, this 45 also is a key verse. It is also one of the hearts of chapter 2, important verse. We will take it up next time. And here there is an instruction for Arjun. So wherever there is an instruction for Arjun, we have to take it as an instruction for us, and we will explain that. Traigunya, and it is the seed of chapter 14. So those of you who are studying chapter 14, you will know that this is where Bhagwan mentioned the three gunas, but didn't explain. He doesn't explain, but we will explain. I will explain in a little bit, but the more details are in chapter 14. And that's where we are at. So any questions so far? Everybody's clear? Good.